Hello, South Meridian. Well, it appears that COVID-19 is throwing a curveball at us once again. I'm sure that you've heard that the COVID infections are going up in Madison County. Since September, the positivity rate has almost tripled here in Indiana, and it's once again putting a lot of stress on our local health care. So, out of an abundance of caution, I would like to ask something of our congregation once again. I'm requesting that those of you who are able to access our worship service online, that you stay home for the next few Sundays for the rest of November, and that you participate in our worship online. And that will leave room for those who aren't able to access our worship online to join us here on Sunday mornings. Now, I want to stress that this is strictly voluntary. Our goal here is to minimize the number of people who are in our worship services. You may have heard Governor Holcomb say that the maximum size for counties like Madison County that the state is now allowing is 50. And although they make an exception for churches, after a lot of conversation, our staff really feels that the responsible and thoughtful thing for us to do is to limit our own size of our gatherings. And I want to ask you to just consider with me how significant this is. When we gather together on Sundays, especially in a time when the COVID rate is rising rapidly, that has implications for all kinds of people. So, for example, people who are working, their ability to work depends upon their staying healthy, or even some businesses, in order to stay open, their workers have to remain healthy. So what we're doing here is, I think, is just a really responsible thing on behalf of our community. Now, asking those of you who are able to stay home and to participate in worship online is asking a lot, and it affects everything else. So, for example, we're asking our Sunday school classes, and this would be children all the way up through adults. We're asking our Sunday school classes not to meet here in our building, to meet online by Zoom if at all possible, and we would love to help you to be able to do that if we can. So this affects just about everything, and we considered all kinds of scenarios to try to make it possible for our classes to keep meeting here. But we just found that that became so complicated and sent mixed messages, and in the end, it really seems wisest for us to ask our classes to go back to meeting by Zoom. And I just have to tell you, this grieves me, because it has been joyful to observe our classes coming back together again after, in many cases, a long absence, but here we are again. So, to repeat, what I'm requesting is that those of you who are able to remain home, access our worship online, so that those who aren't able to do that can come in here, and we will have a lot of space in order to be as safe as possible. Now, I want to just mention a few things before I close off here. And the first thing is, if you do come on Sunday morning, if you do, please know that there's not going to be any shame in that whatsoever. Nobody's going to ask. If you have a special reason why you need to be here on Sunday morning, I want you to come. I want you to know that you're going to be greeted warmly, and I want you to know there's just going to be appreciation and welcome that is extended to you. I really want to reiterate how important it is that this is voluntary. The second thing is, I hope this message comes through loud and clear. I want you to be here, and our pastoral staff wants you to be here. Our whole ministry teams want you to be here. It is extremely hard for me to ask you to stay home if you're able to. And that really leads to the last thing that I want to say, and that is, I believe that embracing these restrictions is an act of love for our community. Sure, it's hard for us. It is a sacrifice for us, but doing this is really an act of kindness on behalf of the people of our community. One of the things that Governor Holcomb mentioned in his address this week is that the spikes increase immediately after Sundays, because Sunday gatherings around the state are places where the sharing of this virus is happening. So we want to do our part to minimize that, to cut down on the number of people that are here, and that's why I'm asking for your help. As I think back to when this began for us, which was way back in March, in mid-March, one of the thoughts that comes to my mind is that this congregation has been extraordinary through this season. You've done what we've asked of you. When we asked you not to come here, you didn't come here. When we asked you to mask up when you came, you masked up. When we asked you to distance, you distanced. You've done everything that we've asked. And because of that, I really think that we've been responsible in our stewardship of what's happening during this time. So I want to thank you for that. And on behalf of our whole ministry staff, I want to say it is an incredible honor to serve you. We appreciate so much the kind of church that South Meridian is. We may be placing some restrictions upon ourselves in terms of our gathering, but we are not restricting ourselves in terms of being the church. We're the church in, with, and for this community. And so I want to thank you in advance for your ways of doing your part to help Madison County to be as safe as it can possibly be. Thank you, and God bless you.